Hello, my lovely viewers. Have you ever felt a chill down your spine late at night when you thought you were alone? Well, get ready for a true and chilling story that will make you double-check your locks before going to bed. So, the first story is The Silent Intruder. Jessica and Mark Taylor, a young couple, move into their dream home, a charming but slightly worn-down house in a quiet suburban neighborhood. They are excited to start their new life and eagerly begin renovating the property. One evening, Jessica hears strange noises coming from the basement, but Mark dismisses them as the house settling. Curiosity gets the better of Jessica, and she decides to investigate the basement. She finds nothing unusual but can't shake off the eerie feeling that someone is watching her. She convinces herself it's just her imagination. The noises persist, and Jessica starts noticing small, odd changes around the house. An unlocked door, misplaced items, food disappearing. Mark remains skeptical, attributing it to Jessica's overactive imagination. Tension builds between them as Jessica becomes more anxious and insistent that something is wrong. Jessica installs a hidden camera in the basement, hoping to catch whatever is causing the disturbances. Reviewing the footage, she is horrified to see a shadowy figure moving around, confirming her worst fears. She shows the evidence to Mark, who finally believes her. They decide to call the police, but the intruder seems to vanish without a trace before they arrive. Determined to uncover the truth, Jessica and Mark start digging into the history of their house. They discover that the previous owner, an elderly man, had a reclusive brother who went missing shortly before the house was put up for sale. The couple realizes that the brother might still be hiding in the basement, living secretly in their home. One night, while Mark is away on a business trip, Jessica hears footsteps coming from the basement. Terrified, she locks herself in the bedroom and calls Mark, who advises her to stay put until he returns. But the intruder begins pounding on the bedroom door, trying to break in. Just when Jessica thinks all is lost, the noises stop, and everything goes eerily quiet. Mark rushes home and they both head to the basement armed with flashlights and a bat. They find a hidden room behind a false wall filled with makeshift bedding, canned food, and personal belongings. Suddenly, the intruder, a gaunt and desperate man, appears. A tense struggle ensues, but Mark manages to subdue him until the police arrive. The intruder is revealed to be the missing brother of the previous owner, who had been living in the basement to avoid being institutionalized. He had been surviving by sneaking into the main house when the couple was away or asleep. The police take him into custody, and Jessica and Mark finally feel a sense of relief. Jessica and Mark begin repairing the damage and continue their renovations, now more cautious but grateful to have their home back. They strengthen their relationship, having faced and overcome a terrifying ordeal together. The house, once a source of fear, becomes a place of newfound security and love as they move forward stronger than ever. If you enjoyed this story, please share your feedback. If you'd like to request any changes or suggest a new story idea, just comment down below. So, here is second story, Page Turner. Liam Harper sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, the rain pattering against the windows. His fingers trembled slightly as he turned the pages of the old, leather-bound book he had found at a second-hand store earlier that day. The title, Whispering Shadows, had intrigued him, and he couldn't resist diving into its eerie tale. Liam, a librarian with a penchant for horror novels, lived a quiet life in the heart of the city. His apartment was filled with books, each shelf meticulously organized. Despite the comfort of his home, a sense of unease crept over him as he read. The book's protagonist, a man named Sam, mirrored Liam's own life in unsettling ways. Same job, same hobbies, even the same apartment layout. As Liam read further, he came across a passage that described Sam sitting in his apartment on a rainy night, reading a book. The description was so vivid and accurate that Liam felt a chill run down his spine. He glanced around his room, half expecting to see someone watching him. The air seemed to thicken with tension. The next chapter introduced a mysterious figure lurking in the shadows outside Sam's window. Liam's heart pounded as he read, and when he looked up, he saw a shadow move outside his own window. He jumped up, the book slipping from his hands. The fear was no longer confined to the pages. It was here, in his home. Liam's nights became a blur of sleepless hours and frantic reading. He felt compelled to finish the book, hoping to understand what was happening. Each page seemed to blur the lines between fiction and reality. He noticed strange occurrences around his apartment, objects out of place, whispers in the dark, and the persistent feeling of being watched. One evening, Liam discovered a note slipped under his door. It read, "You are not alone." His hands shook as he clutched the paper. He realized that the events in the book were mirroring his life with increasing accuracy. Sam, in the story, found the same note. Panic gripped Liam. He couldn't escape the feeling that his fate was tied to Sam's. Determined to break free from the book's grasp, Liam decided to confront the author. He researched the book's origins and discovered that the author, Evelyn Black, had mysteriously disappeared years ago. With a newfound resolve, Liam traveled to the small town where Evelyn was last seen, hoping to find answers. Liam arrived at a dilapidated mansion on the outskirts of the town, the supposed residence of Evelyn Black. The house exuded an air of malevolence, and as Liam stepped inside, he felt a heavy presence. The mansion's interior was eerily similar to the one described in Whispering Shadows. He felt as though he had stepped into the pages of the book itself. Liam explored the mansion, each room revealing more about Evelyn's life and the dark forces she had dabbled with. In the attic, he found an old typewriter, still loaded with paper. As he approached, the keys began to move on their own, typing out the final chapter of Whispering Shadows. The words described Liam's every move. Terrified but determined, Liam confronted the spirit of Evelyn Black. Evelyn revealed that she had made a pact with dark entities to ensure her stories became real, trapping characters in her narratives. Liam fought against the dark presence, using his knowledge of the book to outsmart Evelyn's ghost and break the curse. The mansion crumbled around him as the curse lifted, but Liam managed to escape. He returned to his apartment, the book now a pile of ashes. Exhausted but relieved, he felt a sense of closure. He had rewritten his fate, breaking free from the sinister narrative. As he settled into his favorite reading chair, he picked up a new book, confident that he was once again the author of his own story.